welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. I am finally back with some budget content for you. It took me a long time to figure out how I was going to film budget videos again, both because of my new schedule and routine, and also because the desk that I used to film on my budget videos every week is no longer in my home. It is now at my office, which is actually where we are right now. I came into work on a Sunday to make this video for you guys. And if this works out, this is what I'll have to be doing moving forward in terms of budgeting content. I will have to come into my office on a non-work day and film, but you guys have been requesting that I bring budget videos back, and so I'm gonna try to make it happen for you on a more regular basis. If I'm being honest, I haven't been budgeting really at all since February when my husband and I took over the company. We just have been kind of spending willy-nilly. Our income did go up when I started working full-time, and so that has helped to offset some of our spending. But if I'm being honest, we are in more credit card debt now than we were before I started this job back in February. Not a whole lot more, but that's kind of the opposite of what I thought would happen. I thought, you know, higher income, we're going to be able to pay these debts off quick, and that has not been the case. We've had lifestyle creep, you know, the more money you make, the more money you spend. That is true. And it's time for me to get back on track. And what better way to do that than to get back to YouTube videos, sharing my budget. I can't share everything, but I can share, you know, I'll do my best to share what I can. It'll help keep me accountable. So yeah, I'm here today to set up my October budget and something new, well, really something old. I think I'm going to go back to budgeting by paycheck, at least for now. Trying to think about a budget for the entire month like I was doing regularly before I started working full-time with my hybrid budget. I have so many videos on my hybrid budget. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go check some of my older budget videos, but that was where I was taking the whole kind of month at a glance and setting it up. And I just can't think that far ahead these days. So I'm gonna try weekly budgeting. My husband and I are paid weekly. So it'll be a paycheck budget week to week, with the idea being that I come on here once a week, I check in with my budget from the previous week, I set up the new week, and I'll be bringing budget videos to my channel on a weekly basis, provided that I can manage that and it's not, you know, too much. I don't make any promises. I can promise that you're going to see my October week 1 budget today. That's what I'm going to be setting up. But first, I want to show you my October budget printables. So all this time that I've been away from YouTube, not sharing my budget, I've still been creating these budget worksheets and putting them in my Etsy shop. I myself haven't been using them because I haven't been budgeting, but I've still been putting them out for you guys. So I have a whole backlog of really pretty budget printables if you're not into Halloween, but if you are, this is my skittish collection. That's what I have called it. And it's the super fun Halloween themed collection of printable budget worksheets that are available in my Etsy shop. I don't have them all here because I don't use them all. I don't plan to use all of the various worksheets, but you can go to my Etsy shop and flip through. Speaking of Etsy, that was an Etsy message I just got, if you heard that. You can go through, take a peek at all of the different printables I have available. These are just the ones I'm going to be using today. So I'll flip through them really quick and then we'll get to my budget. So I have the October cover page. This is part of the dated add-on. So what you can do is you can buy some of the worksheets individually. I don't have them all individually because some of them just didn't sell. But the ones that sold most often I have available individually for purchase and download. or I have a whole bundle of all of the undated worksheets that you can buy. And then I also have the dated add-on. So the undated worksheets you can use any month of the year. I probably wouldn't imagine you'd want to use this theme in like, April, but maybe you would. And that's fine. Plenty of my others are not like super holiday specific, right? Or time specific. They're all undated, so you can use them whenever you want, but then you also can buy the dated add-on that has the month on the front cover, also has a dated calendar versus the undated calendar that's available in the bundle or individually. And then it also comes with the October overview. The undated bundles all come with this as well, but they're just undated. So I don't want this to be a big, long, like, commercial for my Etsy shop. I just kind of wanted to explain that in case you were new. So, beautiful, fun, purple, ooky collection here for October. I showed you. It's got a dated calendar that I'm going to be using. Also, the October overview where I can list out my debts, write my goals for the month. My credit score, I like to keep track of my credit score month to month and any notes. And then I have a debt tracker here. That's going to be next. Typically, I fill in all of my worksheets and then I punch them and I put them into a happy planner. But my punch is actually at home, so I'm going to need to bring that to the office next week in order to do that. So I'm just going to be filling them in today, not punching them and putting them into my planner. Also, I swear this is the last side note. I apologize for the lighting. I don't have great lighting here in my office. This is just the best I can do. Hopefully it's okay. Our sun did just go behind the cloud, so hopefully it'll come back. So I'm going to keep track of the debt that I'm currently working on, the credit card I'm currently trying to pay off, and that's why I have this here. And then we just move right into the paycheck budget, which is the budget worksheet I'm going to be using. I'm going to be budgeting paycheck to paycheck for October, and we'll see how it goes. And then I also have an expense tracker, so I'm going to keep track of all of my spending throughout the week to help me fill in the actual columns on my paycheck budget at the end of the week. So I have 4 of those because there are 4 paychecks in October, and actually I believe there's 5 paychecks in October. We get paid on Tuesdays, but the final paycheck of October is on the 31st, and that money I will likely use for my November budget. So I just printed 4 of each of these, and I have printed them double-sided so that when I punch them and put them into my workbook, they will all be set. And then I just have a little back cover. So this could be its own little planner all by itself. And you can print these pages as many times as you want if you purchase them from my Etsy shop. So, if you find a theme that you like and you want to use it all year, you can buy it and use it over and over again throughout the year. Now that I have spent 8 long minutes chatting about where I've been, the new situation with budget videos, and showing you my printables, let's go ahead and skip all of this. I will likely go in and put all of my bills into this October calendar just on my own time off camera. I'm not going to bore you with that today. I'm also not going to fill in my goals for the month because honestly my goal for October is just to actually budget, because I keep saying every month I'm going to get back to the budget and then I never do. So there's that. And then we're going to skip right ahead to the paycheck budget. And I'm not going to be talking about income today. I've said this before. I'm just not going to share my income. My husband's not comfortable with it. Now that we have this new life, this new business and everything, I'm not really comfortable sharing either. Just know that my husband and I both get a paycheck from our business. I also make a little bit of money on YouTube and Etsy, though those numbers have been very much down since I haven't been around near as much. I'm hoping to get those numbers back up to help pay off my debt, which you guys know if you've been watching my budget videos or if you've watched them in the past, my ultimate goal is to pay off debt. That is the reason for my budget. So hopefully with more videos coming out and that sort of thing, that income will be able to go up. We also have a little bit of money that my oldest son, Robert, contributes to the household as he lives with us. And that is what's going to make up the majority of the money that's going to be budgeted today. Again, we're not talking income totals, but that's what's going to go up here in this income section. For now, I'm just going to leave it blank. Okay, so before I get started filling in my paycheck budget, there's some things you need to know. As I mentioned, I'm not going to be talking about how much income we are using in this budget. Also know that there's some bills and things that I have left out entirely. They are taken care of, they are covered, but I'm just not going to be putting them into my budget just because it's easier to keep everything private if I just disclose certain information. So if you see something missing from my budget and you're like, I wonder why she didn't budget for that, most likely it's because it's just not on here, but it is covered. I had to kind of make allowances for myself in order to share my budget without... I've definitely over the years given way too much information, and I'm trying to reel that in. So hopefully that makes sense, and hopefully you enjoy this video nonetheless. So the paycheck date is October 3rd, and this budget is going to be from October 3rd through October 9th. So 1 week, Tuesday to Monday. That's just how I budget because that is how we have been paid. Okay, so on my paycheck budget worksheet, I have a space indicated to write down your income, estimated and actual, checking, so anything that you would pay using a debit card or your checking account. I've got cash envelopes down here, sinking funds, so any money that you're setting aside for sinking funds, which are like short-term savings in my eyes. A section for extra debt. There's totals down here where you can take your income and subtract out how much you budgeted for each of those categories, checking, cash envelopes, sinking funds, and extra debt. And then whatever is remaining, you can then put into savings. That's how this paycheck budget was designed. That's how I used it for a long time. That's not how I'm going to be using it today. Instead, this checking section I'm going to use for more like fixed expenses. Cash envelopes I'm going to use for more variable expenses. I'm not using cash right now. I don't have the time to dedicate to cash envelopes like I used to. I know that using cash envelopes for certain things really does help me out in terms of not overspending, but right now with everything I have going on, it's just not feasible to do cash envelopes. I might do them again in the future, but for now, not so much. And then we'll talk about what I'm going to do in terms of sinking funds moving forward when we get there. For now, I'm just going to zoom in on this checking section, and this is essentially going to be all of the kind of fixed expenses for the week. Okay, hopefully I am not zoomed in too much and it's not too wobbly. I have a new tripod I'm trying out today. So yeah, starting out, really there's just like a handful of bills here that I know need to be paid during this pay period. So we have HBO Max, which I guess is just called Max now. That's one of the many streaming services we currently have. And for this, I'm budgeting $16. And like I said, these are fixed expenses, so I know pretty much what these bills and things are going to be, and I just round them up to the nearest dollar just to make the math a little bit easier. So that's HBO Max. Also due this week is our DTE bill, which is our electricity, and for that I'm going to budget $2.15. Our electric bill is just astronomical. We have done a lot of things to try to bring it down, and it's helped a little bit, but not enough, in my opinion. Then we have Michigan Gas, which is our gas for our home, and for that, I'm going to budget $70. That I rounded up a little bit more, so not necessarily to the exact dollar. I'm just trying to make this quick and easy math. We are on a budget billing plan for both DTE and Michigan Gas. That's why those items are in the fixed expenses. Otherwise, they would vary month to month, but because we're on the budget plan, it makes it really easy to know exactly how much we're going to have to pay each month. The other bill that is due this week is our golf cart payment, which is $150, or at least that's what I'm going to budget for. And then the only other thing I want to put under here is a buffer. So with me not budgeting for a long time and just now kind of getting back into it, there's definitely going to be things that I forget. A lot of our bills and things are on auto pay. I don't even think about them anymore. Things might come up that a lot of our expenses and things go automatically on a credit card, and then I pay that credit card. So it's like a lot of things that I just don't even think about these days, but trying to get better about it. So I'm going to put a pretty large buffer in here to cover anything that I forgot. And also a couple of things that I'm just not listing here, like I said, for privacy reasons. And that buffer is going to be $500. So have my handy dandy calculator here. Let's go ahead and add this up. So we have 16 plus 215 plus 70 plus 150 plus 500 is 951. So that's that. Now moving down here to cash envelopes, this is where I'm going to list out the more variable expenses, the things that I have a little bit more control over. And in that we're talking about groceries, which groceries have gone up so much, and with the way that we are currently eating right now, both with a lot of convenience foods for my kiddos, just because everybody's busy, we're all going in 15 different directions, we're not always eating dinner at the same time. A lot of times they fend for themselves and we'll do like frozen pizzas or chicken nuggets and that sort of thing. They both can cook, but with as busy as they are, sometimes it's just real easy to pull something out of the freezer, throw it in the air fryer or the microwave. So we're buying a lot of that type of thing. And also I currently am eating sort of a low carb diet, so a lot of meat and vegetables, a lot of dairy products. It's kind of like a hybrid between keto and carnivore, ketovore, if you will, though I hate putting a label on it because I'm not actually counting anything. I'm not counting carbs. I'm not trying to stay under a certain number. I'm not counting calories. I'm just, basically, I've tried to cut sugar. So with that, a lot of like the cheap and easy carbs and things like pastas that I used to regularly buy have been replaced with more like meat, steaks, ground beef. So both the way that we're eating and the ever skyrocketing cost of groceries means that we are spending a small fortune in food, and it just is what it is. I haven't been budgeting for it at all. So the fact that I'm trying to get on a budget now is a good thing because it's really been off the rails for quite a while. And my lighting just changed and it looks terrible now. My apologies for that. So for the week for groceries, I'm going to budget $250. I have no idea if that's realistic or not, to be honest. I know this past week we spent more than that, but we also kind of splurged on some more expensive cuts of steak and things. So I'm going to try to keep it at $250. If I go over it a little bit, then that's okay. I know that then for upcoming weeks, but that's what I'm budgeting. And then we're also going to budget an eating out budget of quite a bit as well. This is where most of our money's going these days, you guys. Please don't make me feel guilty about it. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm going to budget $150. So we're looking at $400 for the week for food. If my grocery budget's a little bit more, my eating out's a little bit less, and they even out, I'll be okay with that. In the past, I have done sort of like a food budget, but know that this grocery budget also has like all of our household items in there as well. So toilet paper, cleaning products, that sort of thing. So that makes it a little bit better, maybe. Also, all of our pet supplies, pet food, cat litter, that sort of thing comes out of this budget as well. And then the only other thing I'm going to stick here in this section is our spending, and actually the only thing that I'm going to write in here in terms of spending is my spending. So I'm not going to list out my husband's spending or my son's allowance or anything like that. We're actually in a period of transition right now because we just finally, after years of saving, bought my youngest son his car. He's not quite driving yet. He starts driver's training here pretty soon, and we wanted him to have the car that he was going to be driving long term as his vehicle that he learned to drive in. So we bought it maybe a little bit sooner than we needed to. Could have waited till he gets his license. He'll be 16 in January, but he won't actually be able to get his license for 6 months after he gets his level 1 license, which he won't get until December, I think. So it'll be like summer next year before he's driving independently, but we saved up for the car. We bought it in cash. That's really, really exciting. One of the things that we've also chosen to do for him is help him with the car insurance. We were regularly giving him an allowance of about $100 a month. We're going to shift that money towards his car insurance, and he'll no longer be getting an allowance. So things are kind of up in the air, jumbled around. This lighting is terrible. I wonder if I can fix it. Give me just a second. Let me see if I can fix this. All right, I'm not sure if that's any better. We're kind of chasing daylight here, so I imagine I will have to shift again as the sun moves. But yeah, I said all that to say that I'm not tracking my husband's spending. I'm not tracking Austin's spending. This is just going to be my spending because I'm the one that needs to get under control. My husband especially has been awesome about continuing to stick to his spending money every week. He's still been doing it in cash. I'm the one that's been doing my spending on a credit card and not really keeping track of it at all. So just for me, $50 a week is what I'm going to be giving myself, and hopefully not spending all of that. And those are all the categories that I'm going to track right here, because these are the places that we overspend the most. And that's really what I need to be budgeting. All of my bills are on auto pay, like I said. A lot of that is already taken care of. I just really wrote those in for the sake of the video, but this is where I need to be putting my attention. And so those are the 3 categories that we're going to budget for and track and hopefully stick to said budget. Really quickly, I'm just going to add this up. 250, I don't know if you can see that, plus 150 plus 50 is 450. Okay, and then we have sinking funds. So when it comes to sinking funds, as I mentioned, we just bought my son a car, and that has been where all of our extra money has gone into savings for that car since February. Essentially, we stopped sinking funds for the most part and just put our efforts into putting money each week into Austin's car fund. Now that that car is purchased, I want to get back to sinking funds. However, at the time of filming this video, I don't quite know what funds I'm even going to have or how I'm going to break things down, how much I want to put into each fund. So for right now, I'm just going to set the money aside, the full amount that I'm going to save this week, and I will at a later date kind of figure out how I want to allocate that money. So for now, I'm just going to put $300 aside for sinking funds. And then, you know, later on down the line, I'll figure out if I want to put $50 towards car maintenance and $12 towards, you know, whatever those funds might be. If you want to help me out and you would like to tell me what categories you have for sinking funds, which are just funds set aside for things that you know are coming up, kind of like short-term savings like Christmas, or if you're saving for a vacation or whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you. Right now, I'm just going to take that $300. I don't know if I'm going to pull it out in cash and set it aside, or if I'm going to open up a separate bank account for that money. Let me know what you do with sinking funds, if you have like a savings account that allows you to do different buckets or virtual cash envelopes. I'd love to hear from you. Cash and I just have not been vibing these days. I don't have a lot of time for it, though I was pulling cash from the bank for my son's car fund, and that worked out well. So we'll see. For now, I just know that I'm budgeting $300 to be set aside towards sinking funds. I don't know what those funds are yet. And then last but not least, I have extra debt. So anytime that I make a minimum payment to a credit card, that's going to go over here in this section. This section is for any money above and beyond our minimum payments. So right now, I'm currently working on a credit card, and it's the credit card that has the lowest balance. We're still doing the debt snowball, and I'm just putting all the extra money that I can aside towards extra debt. And for this, in this case, I'm going to set aside $200 to the credit card we're currently working on, which is a city card. And I'm just going to attempt to set aside $200. That's what I'm going to budget. We will see at the end of the week if I have that amount to put towards that credit card. That depends. You know, if for some reason my bills come out to be a lot higher than I thought, or I way below this grocery budget, then that will eat into this amount here that I want to set aside for that credit card, or I might have to pull some of that money back from sinking funds. This is just the plan, the budget. That doesn't mean that it's all going to go as planned. So I'm going to zoom you guys out and give you a final look here at my weekly budget. All right, there we go. Once again, the lighting is wonky. I'm hopeful that I will get better at this, filming in a new location at a different time of day than normal, than I normally would. So things are a little bit hectic and crazy, but I really wanted to try to get a paycheck budget out for you guys. I know you guys have been requesting budget videos. So this is the look at the plan for the week. I gotta fill in this total here. At the end of the week, I'll come back, I'll fill in the actual columns, and we'll see if everything kind of went to plan. And then together we will write up the next paycheck budget. That's the plan as of now. No promises. I'm gonna do my best, but I can't promise. And I appreciate your patience while I kind of figure everything out, the lighting and all of that. But yeah, this is the budget for the week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in these budget worksheets, I do have them available in my Etsy shop listed down below. I will see you guys soon. Bye.